Yes, I am a mouse. Don't ask. I am apparently also the captain of a ship. In this video, I want to go over what not to buy in this summer update. There is a bunch of new content, 15 new vehicles and some other stuff, which we'll get into. But I want to make a video helping you guys out so you can save some money. So this is going to be a buyer beware video, and let's hop right in. Of course, we're going to start with the vehicles first. And the vehicles, some are great, like incredible. Others, not so much. So let's take a look at the website. We're going to take a look at the Legendary Motorsport website first. The most expensive vehicles. Now, I've done some testing with pretty much all of these vehicles. Nothing too extensive, but just to get an idea of what's good, what's bad, you know, compared to some other vehicles in the classes that these are in. And running through this list, I'll say this BR8, do not buy, mainly because it's $3.4 million. And honestly, if you already have a F1 car, you don't really need it. Same thing kind of goes for this DR1. Now, out of these two, I would say the DR1 is my favorite, and it actually is a little bit faster than the BR8, but you do have a little bit less traction, which, you know, there's trade-offs, obviously. Definitely this one, you're saving $500,000 or $400,000. That's a benefit. It does have some good looks too. That's another benefit. But again, comparing it to the old F1 cars, the R88 and the PR4, they're all relatively the same. So, I mean, you really don't need to spend $3 million on it unless you really want to. Now, this Lampadati Taycan is an interesting one because it is a pretty solid car. It's a pretty solid supercar, but it's not top of the bunch. And $2.3 million is a lot of money. Now, I'll be doing a more in-depth look at these cars individually, like the F1 cars and how they all compare against each other, the supercar right here and how it compares against some other supercars, even the Coquette and how it compares against some other sports cars. That'll come probably tomorrow. So hit that subscribe button if you're looking forward to that. But the Lampadati Taycan, I would say wait. I would say wait until there's a sale. Because while it looks okay if you're going for this sort of old school style supercar, the performance is probably, it's a little worse than the Wagner when we did the test. So the Wagner is a pretty solid supercar, but this being worse than it, you know, there's still like 4 or 5 better supercars you can get for performance. And again, 2.3 million is a lot of money. And when we looked at all the customization in the live stream this morning, the Taycan, it didn't really have the greatest customization, nor did it have the greatest livery. So I would say save on that. Again, this is all, you know, dependent on if you're just trying to save your money and be super, super smart with it. Like if you really want that car, buy it. You know, who cares what I say? The Coquette, now this one, this is an interesting one because the looks of it are incredible. It's a sports car, number one. It's 1.5 mil. That's a lot for a sports car, but considering a lot of the sports cars over the last like year or two, it is kind of in the same range as a bunch of them. So I guess the price is what it is. The customization is incredible. These rims are really nice. I really love the uniqueness of them. And it's a new Coquette. I mean, come on. With that being said, though, the performance is kind of disappointing. The handling, it does end up spinning out of control fairly frequently, which is something that can get annoying if you're driving it around. And the performance is actually worse than the Jugular, which is a 4-door sports car. Now, granted, the Jugular is one of the best sports cars in the game, but if you were looking for performance, you're not getting that with this Coquette. The Itali GTO and the Pariah are still the top kings in the sports class. And the Jugular, I believe, is like number 3. This is a little under that. And you'll see more again in the testing tomorrow. But that one, I would say buy it. But that's because I'm a little biased. I love the way this looks. If you're really going for a smart choice, smart buying decision, don't buy it. Because if you're looking for performance, look elsewhere in the sports class. And if you're looking for the price tag, then definitely look elsewhere because it's 1.5 mil. What I will say, the customization is incredible in this car. It looks great. It's got some solid liveries. So I would say it's worth the 1.5 mil, but it might be a car that ends up spending a lot of time in your garage. It might not get much use. Out of these 4 cars, though, I'd say that's the only one I would heavily consider. Next, we have the Southern San Andreas Super Autos cars. And these are interesting because we have the Penumbra FF at $1.3 million. Literally $200,000 less than that cockpit we just saw. Do not buy this car. Unless you are the biggest Fast and Furious fan, this car is basically worthless. In my opinion, it's kind of like a worse Jester Classic. I know they're not the same cars, but they're very similar, and the Jester Classic has way better customization, and I believe it might even handle and perform a little bit better. These, we didn't do too much performance with these because honestly, you're not buying these for their performance, but this is just, it's not that great of a car. My friend who bought it, he was excited for it. He customized and he's like, man, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think I'm going to sell it. So just to give an indication, I'd save your money on that one. Same thing goes with this Club. I don't know why they thought people are going to buy this car for $1.3 million. There's absolutely no reason. It doesn't have, I mean, it's got some okay customization, but it's nothing that makes you like say, hey, you know what? I'm spending 1.3 mil. Wait for a sale. That'll probably come in a couple of weeks on that one. And then the Landstalker. We made a joke about this on the live stream, but like, who's buying an SUV for 1.2 mil? Like, granted, it doesn't look terrible. And even if it performs well, it's like, it's still an SUV. But I mean, $1.2 million. An SUV should not be costing that much amount unless there's some new revolutionary feature on it. So definitely save on that one. Now, these two, I'd say buy because, dude, this one's $300,000. That's a steal. It's the Dukes. The Dukes already is a great car. This has another just unique feature. The fact that it's beaten up and that fact that it's all like destroyed and stuff, that's great. It does have some cool customization as we showed off in the live stream, some good liveries as well. And you can fix all of these features if you do want the car to look good. But I think you got to lean into the sort of beaten up aspect of it. And again, $300,000, that's a great price. Don't know why these other ones aren't like that. And then this one here, the Seminole Frontier, another great price for what we're getting. This has some pretty great customization, not too extensive, but it does have some pretty solid customization, and it's an off-road car and it looks that way, and it just has a great look. I think it's based off the Jeep Cherokee, like one of the old Jeep Cherokees, and it just looks great off-road. $700,000, that's not that much. I'd say that's a pretty solid buy if you're looking for some off-road cars. And then that brings us to Benny's. Benny's, it's pretty simple. Buy the Bravado Gauntlet, 100%. Buy the Bravado Yuga, 100%. And buy the Declasse Yosemite, 100%. I'll get into why in a second. These other three are not that good. The Glendale, terrible. Actually terrible. Don't buy it. The Glendale here, $200,000. I think it costs like $300,000 to upgrade, $500K basically total. It is terrible. Do not buy it. The customization is really, really lacking on this vehicle. The Peyote, kind of disappointing one. I mean, it's a standard lowrider. It has pretty much the same customization that the lowriders 4 or 5 years ago had. So if you like those and you want to add another one, sure, go for it. I believe it costs like $400,000 or $500,000 to upgrade, so it's going to be in that price range considering it's a very inexpensive car to get. But it's just, it's nothing great. Like, it's definitely one of my least favorite ones in this update. Plus, if you want to add hydraulics to it, it's another like 200 or 300K. So yeah. And then the Manana, out of all three of the lowrider ones, I think this one's probably the better one, but even still, it's just, nothing is crazy with it. It's not the most expensive one or whatever, but it's just, I don't know, it's lacking. And I'll show you guys why I say to buy the Gauntlet, the Yuga, and the Yosemite. Look at them. This is the Gauntlet. That looks freaking incredible. Look at the Yuga. That looks incredible. The Love Fist livery. Are you kidding me? That is amazing. And then I don't know if you can see inside, but we have like freaking liquor bottles inside, speakers inside. Awesome. And the Yosemite. This thing is an off-road champ. This may give the Camacho a run for its money. I haven't done too much testing in that regard, but looks alone, customization alone, this and the Yuga, top tier. Gauntlet, it has great customization, not on the extent those do, but the car looks great by itself. I mean, look at this thing. This is beautiful. And then just to show you guys, in case you weren't checking out the live stream, what these things look like. This is what the Coquette looks like. I don't know, man. It is 1.5 mil, but it just looks so damn good. I do have the, what is this? The DR1. I think this probably is the best looking F1 car out of the 4 we have now. But, you know, $3 million, that's a lot of money to put into it, especially if you're not going to be really open wheel racing. And then look how cool the Beater Dukes is. For that $300,000 price tag, this is what you're getting. This is what you can get. Again, you can make it all nice looking, but I kind of dig the beaten up look that we got. Here's that Canis Seminole Frontier. You can see I have it, I don't know, in a pretty standard little, got dirt livery on there. It's a solid looking off-road car. I think that'll look great in my off-road thing. And it was only 600K. That's not terrible. This is the Tygon. This is probably the best livery, and that says something. I mean, obviously you can rock it with no livery if you really want, but it is sort of like an old school supercar. And because the performance isn't the greatest, I feel like you might want to wait, because 2.2 mil, that's a lot of money. Here's the Glendale. The Glendale it didn't have nearly as much customization as the other two, the Peyote or the other one, whatever it was called. The SUV here is massive. It reminds me of like the Sand King as far as like the scale of it. You can put this blood livery, and I think that's probably the best look. But again, 1.2 mil. This is the other car that's like 1.2 mil. It's called the BF Club. It's a meme vehicle, but is a meme worth 1.2 mil? Probably not. And then the BR8, the 3.4 mil. It looks like a freaking anteater. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a good F1 car, but it just looks weird. And the Penumbra, if you're a Fast and Furious fan, you have the Fast and Furious logo, but I mean, that's basically it. The customization kind of whack, and unless you're really looking for like an old school sports type car, pass. And then here are the final two. The Peyote, yeah, it doesn't look terrible, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. I was hoping for maybe some new lowrider stuff. They were going to add some lowriders. And then the Manana. Again, doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't bring anything new to the table. So those are all the vehicles. There's honestly only a handful I would buy. Those 3 on Benny's, and then maybe the Coquette if you're really wanting a sports car that looks great. And then if you really want that off-road, I mean, if you have extra money, I'd buy it. Otherwise, you could probably just stick with these two for the off-road. Now, there's some other stuff in the game that they added. So they added a bunch of clothing. I mean, you can go through the clothing and see what you want. They did add a new apartment. So you can actually get an 8th apartment or an 8th garage, 10-car garage. So maybe you want to buy that. Now, one of the main aspects of this DLC is the yacht missions. And honestly, if you don't have a yacht, don't buy it. The yachts are discounted. They're not heavily discounted. It's only like 20 or 30%, but they're not discounted. You still have to spend like $4 to $5 million at the minimum just to get a yacht. And you do get access to those 6 missions, but the total amount of money you make from those missions is only about 150K. And that's if you're playing on hard. And the final reward you get is this captain's outfit. It comes with a cap. I don't have the cap on, but you're going to spend $5 to $10 million on a yacht to make 150K and to get this outfit. I don't think that's worth it. Now, yeah, if you already have a yacht, then go for it. But I mean, if you're a new player, honestly, just find someone who has a yacht. Play through the missions yourself with them, and then that's probably all you need to do, man. Like, it's not worth the money to get this outfit, basically. And honestly, that's pretty much it with this DLC. The other stuff that they added isn't anything you can really buy. So yeah, hopefully this video helps you guys out. Let me know, out of the 15 cars that they added, which one is your favorite? Man, it's tough between the Gauntlet and the Yuga van, I think. Even the Coquette. I like the Coquette. I'm leaning towards the Gauntlet, though. The Gauntlet's probably my number 1 favorite at the moment because it's a Benny's vehicle, number 1. But that's going to do it for the video. There'll be another video out later today. I'm also doing an $8 million, a couple $8 million shark card giveaways on my Twitter. Hopefully there will be a link in the description below, so go check that out if you want to win some money. Thank you all for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one.